Listen to me. If you want to win, if you want to conquer your dreams, if you want to go where most people won't even dare to look, then you have to discipline yourself. This ain't about talent. This ain't about how gifted you are. This is about waking up when you don't feel like it. This is about going to the gym when your body is screaming, no, and you say, yes. Discipline is the difference between those who dream and those who achieve. Everybody wants the lifestyle, but nobody wants to do what it takes. Everybody wants to shine, but nobody wants to grind. You think greatness comes easy. You think success is for the lazy? No, it's for the discipline. The ones who say a no to the party, a no to the distraction, a no to the comfort, and yes, sir, to pay. Yes, sir, to the pressure. Yes, sir, the process. Discipline is doing what you hate, but doing it like you love it. That's what makes champions. Discipline yourself, or life will do it for you. Everybody got goals. You got dreams, visions, plans. You got notebooks full of ideas. You telling everybody, one day I'm gonna be successful. One day I'm gonna get this money. One day I'm gonna make my mama proud. But I need you to understand something. Goals mean nothing without discipline, nothing. You can write it down, put it on your wall. Say your affirmations every single morning. But until you move, until you act, until you discipline yourself, it's just talk. Discipline. Discipline is the bridge. It's the connector between where you are and where you want to be. Without it, you're stranded. You're stuck on the side of wishing and waiting, looking across the water at the island called success, but you got no way to get there. People come up to me all the time and say, I got goals, man. I want to be a millionaire. I want to lose 50 pounds. I want to graduate top of my class. And I say, okay, how bad do you want it? They say, real bad. But I already know, if they ain't got discipline, they ain't gonna make it. Because goals don't care how bad you want them. Life doesn't respond to your desires. It responds to your discipline. You can have the best strategy in the world. You can buy all the online courses. You can follow all the right people on Instagram. But if you ain't waking up every day and doing the hard stuff consistently, then don't expect nothing to change. Goals don't chase you, you gotta chase them, and the only fuel that keeps you running is discipline. Discipline is the ability to keep showing up even when you don't see results. It's the ability to trust the process even when you're not sure it's working. That's the part people skip. That's the part people skip. Everybody wants results, but nobody wants the in-between. That's where the separation happens. That's where champions are born. In the in-between, in the discipline. Let me make it plain. You want to get fit? You want to get fit? That's the goal. But goals don't lift weights. Goals don't run on treadmill. Goals don't do push-ups. You do. You wake up when it's cold. You hit the gym when your legs sore. You eat clean when your body's screaming for junk. That's discipline. That's how you cross that bridge. You want to be a top student? That's the goal. But that goal won't study for you. That goal won't turn off Netflix. That goal won't say no to your friends when they're going out. You got to do that. You got to sit with the books when your head hurts. You got to reread that chapter for the 5th time. You got to grind when nobody's watching. That's discipline. And I hear you. But it's hard. Yes, of course it's hard. It's supposed to be hard. If it were easy, everybody would be great. But the fact that it's hard, that's the beauty. That's the filter. Discipline filters out the quitters. It separates the committed from the curious. Listen to me, some of you are closer than you think. You ain't missing talent. You ain't missing opportunity. You missing discipline. That's it. You one decision away from momentum. One decision away from waking up on time. One decision away from turning that phone off and locking in. One decision from changing your life. But you keep making the wrong decision because you don't understand the value of discipline. Discipline ain't sexy. It ain't glamorous. It don't get likes on social media. But you know what it does do? It delivers results. Results that can't be denied. Results that can't be faked. Results that speak louder than anything you ever said. When you put discipline in motion, you don't gotta convince nobody of nothing. Your life speaks. Your work speaks. Your success speaks. Loud. So I need you to be honest today. Real talk. Have you been walking in discipline, or have you just been dreaming? Have you been acting or just talking? Have you been building that bridge every single day, or just hoping one magically appears? Every time you show up, every time you sacrifice, every time you push through, you're laying another plank on that bridge. One more step, one more rib, one more hour of study, and the more consistent you are, the faster you cross. But if you keep stopping, if you keep slacking, if you keep saying, I'll start tomorrow, then that bridge never gets built. And the worst part, you stay stuck in a cycle of frustration and regret, wondering why you're not there yet. You're not there yet. You're not there yet because you ain't gone through yet. You got to go through the discipline. You got to go through the consistency. You got to go through the uncomfortable. You got to go through the sacrifice. That's the only way you reach the other side. So from this day forward, discipline yourself. Not once, not twice, but every single day. That's the code. That's the price. That's the bridge between where you are and everything you ever dreamed of. You keep letting your feelings run your life. And that's why you're not where you want to be. That's why you're behind. That's why you keep starting and stopping again and again. Because every time it gets uncomfortable, every time it gets inconvenient, you let your feelings make the decision instead of your discipline. Let me tell you something that changed my life. Feelings are liars. You heard me. Feelings will tell you to stay in bed. Feelings will tell you to stay in bed later. Feelings will whisper, take the day off, you deserve it. Feelings will lie to you every single day if you let them. But discipline tells the truth. Discipline don't care how you feel. Discipline don't care if you're tired, if you're stressed, if it's raining outside, if your friends are going out, if your boss yelled at you, if your emotions are all over the place. Discipline says, this is what we said we were going to do, and we're doing it, period. You've been living like your feelings are the CEO of your life. Like they run the schedule, like they run the goals, like they pay the bills. But let me ask you something. How far have those feelings taken you? How many times have they told you to quit when you were just one step away? How many workouts have they talked you out of? How many dreams have they kept you from chasing? You can't trust your feelings. They're temporary. They change with the wind. One minute you feel like doing it, the next you don't. That's why most people never finish. That's why most people never build nothing great. Because they think success is about feeling good when it's really about doing good. No matter how you feel. I don't feel like waking up early, but I do it. I don't feel like showing up every day and grinding when I'm tired, but I do it. I don't feel like working when I'm hurting, but I still get it done. Why? Because I know my feelings are solved. My feelings want comfort. But my discipline wants progress. My discipline wants purpose. My discipline wants the life I promised myself. See, when you let feelings drive the car, they'll always take the exit to comfort. But when discipline is behind the wheel, it keeps going. Through pain, through storms, through pressure, until you arrive at greatness. That's the difference. You gotta wake up and say, I'm not negotiating with my feelings today. You gotta look your feelings in the face and say, you don't get to vote. You don't get to cast your opinion. You don't run this house. Discipline runs this house. And it starts with the small things. When that alarm goes off, your feelings will say, hit snooze. Discipline said, let's go. When it's time to eat clean, your feelings say, just one cheat meal. Discipline says, ooh, we said no, and we meant it. When it's time to study, your feelings say later. Discipline says nah. Every time you listen to your feelings, you give them more power. You train yourself to be weak. You train yourself to need comfort. But when you choose discipline, even when it hurts, even when it's hard, you train yourself to be unstoppable. You build grit. You build trust with yourself. You build strength that can't be shaken. Let me be real with you. Some of y'all out here thinking you got a motivation problem. Nah, you don't have a motivation problem. You have a discipline problem. You have a discipline problem. You're waiting for the perfect mood, the perfect vibe, the perfect song, the perfect setup. But the truth is, success don't wait for your mood. It responds to your moves. It responds to how consistent you are when you don't feel like it. You think I always feel inspired? You think I always feel like giving 120%? Nah, but I show up anyway. I push anyway, because I'm not doing this for temporary emotion. I'm doing this for a permanent legacy. And I'm not gonna let a bad mood steal what I've been building for years. Some of you need to get your emotions out of the driver's seat. Put them in the passenger seat. Let them be there, but don't let them steer. You need to start making decisions based on principle, not emotion. Based on commitment, not convenience. Based on discipline, not drama. Discipline is loyal. Discipline will always do what's best for you, even when you don't see it right away. Discipline is the version of you that keeps showing up when every part of you wants to quit. That's who you need to trust. Not the voice that said, skip today. Not the voice that says, oh, we're too tired. Trust the voice that said, get up, do the work, finish what you started. That voice, that's discipline, and that voice, it never lies. Everybody keeps chasing motivation like it's magic. Like motivation is going to save them. You scroll through Instagram, watching highlight reels, hype videos, quotes, music pumping, and for a few minutes you feel unstoppable. You feel fired up. You feel ready. But the truth is, motivation is not enough. It never was. It might get you started, but it can't carry you to the finish line. You need something stronger. You need consistency. You don't get results from what you do once. You don't get success from what you do when it's convenient. You don't build legacy with emotion. You build it with repetition. You build it by showing up over and over and over, even when it's boring, even when it's hard, even when you're not feeling it. See, motivation is a spark, but consistency is the engine. The spark fades, the fire dies down. That's natural, but the engine, that's what keeps moving you forward. It doesn't care if it's sunny or rainy. It doesn't care if you slept good or bad. The engine don't stop because the engine runs on discipline. You think champions are motivated every day? You think CEOs wake up hyped every morning? No, they don't. But you know what they are. They're consistent. They've trained themselves to do what needs to be done, whether they feel like it or not. That's the real power. That's where the breakthrough happens. It's not in the inspiration. It's in the repetition. You want to be great? Then you got to stop waiting for motivation and start training consistency. Stop asking, do I feel like it? And start asking, did I promise myself I would? That's the question that changes everything. Because consistency ain't emotional. It's principle-based. You make a decision, and then you keep that decision every single day, no matter what's going on around you. I don't care how excited you were on day one. What matters is what you're doing on day 50, day 100, day 365. Everybody looks good at the beginning. Everybody's motivated when the journey starts. But what happens when it's not exciting anymore? What happens when the results are slow, when nobody's clapping for you, when it's just you in the grind? That's when the real ones show up. That's when consistency separates the committed from the curious. Let me tell you something. Success doesn't respond to moves. It responds to pattern. It responds to habits. It responds to structure. You can be the most talented person in the room, but if you're inconsistent, you'll lose to someone who's less talented, but shows up every single day. I've seen it. I've lived it. I've outworked people who were smarter than me. I've outlasted people who were stronger than me, not because I was better, but because I was consistent. I kept knocking when the door wouldn't open. I kept studying when I didn't see improvement. I kept grinding when nothing was changing. And eventually the results came. Eventually the world had to respect the work. You see, motivation might light a fire, but consistency builds the furnace. It builds a structure that holds you up when life tries to knock you down. And life will try. Life will hit you. You will lose people. You will fail. You will feel lost. But when you're consistent, when you've trained yourself to keep going regardless, that's when you become unstoppable. Stop relying on hype. Hype. Stop chasing moments. Start building systems. Start building routines. Your life changes when your habits change, not when you get excited, when you get committed. If you want to be a writer, you write every day. If you want to be fit, you train every day. If you want to be a top student, you study every day. That's the price. That's the formula. And it doesn't change just because you're tired. It doesn't change just because you're not in the mood. You don't eat once and expect to stay full. You don't work out once and expect to be ripped. So stop showing up once and expecting success. The world doesn't owe you results because you were hyped for a week. The world gives results to the ones who refuse to quit, to the ones who show up long after the motivation runs dry. That's who wins. That's who climbs. That's who gets remembered. So from now on, forget about motivation. It's unreliable. It's inconsistent. Replace it with commitment. Replace it with routine. Replace it with a decision that no matter what, you will not stop. Every time you show up, you cast a vote for the person you want to become until the world can't ignore you. until your habits speak so loud, nobody even has to ask if you're serious. You don't need more hype. You need more discipline. You need more patience. You need more consistency. That's the real secret. That's the truth. Everybody wants to be successful. Everybody wants to be great. Everybody wants the lifestyle, the dream, the respect, but they don't want to do what it takes to earn it. They think success is about doing what you love. Let me tell you the truth. Success is about doing what you hate, but doing it like you love it. That's discipline. That's what separates the average from the elite. The amateurs do what feels good. The professionals do what's necessary. You think I love waking up at 4 a.m. every day? You think I love running in the cold? You think I love turning down comfort, turning down sleep, turning down fun? Nah, but I do it anyway, and I do it with passion. I do it with energy because I know the reward is on the other side of obedience. See, discipline is not about how you feel in the moment. It's about who you said you wanted to become. It's about the standard you set when you were clear, when you were focused, when you said, I'm going to be great. Anybody can smile when the task is easy. Anybody can give effort when the job is fun. But real discipline is showing up with full commitment, full heart, full effort, even when your mind is screaming, I don't want to do this. That's the real game. That's where you earn your respect. That's where growth lives. In the stuff you rather not do, in the early mornings, in the extra reps, in the study sessions when your friends are out, in the lonely hours when nobody's watching, but you're still locked in. That's where winners are built. Because here's what I learned. You won't always love the process, but you better learn to love the grind. You better learn to show up with intensity, even when you're not in the mood. You better walk into the gym, walk into the office, walk into your purpose and say, I may not feel like being here today, but I'm here. And if I'm here, I'm going all in. You don't get greatness on your terms. You get it on discipline's terms. You want that success, you want that body, you want that scholarship, then you gotta be willing to say, I don't care how I feel right now. This is what I committed to. This is the cost. This is the price. And I'm willing to pay it. Too many of y'all are looking for a shortcut. You're looking for a hack. You're looking for a hack. You're waiting for the moment when it all feels easy. But it's not coming. Growth ain't comfortable. Success ain't convenient. You're gonna have to do some things that make you uncomfortable. You're gonna have to say no when everyone else to say no when everyone else says yes. You're going to have to sacrifice sleep, sacrifice fun, sacrifice comfort, and you're going to have to do it with a smile. Because the truth is, discipline ain't just doing the hard thing. It's doing the hard thing with heart. It's attacking what you hate like it's your favorite part of the day. It's giving full focus to the boring parts. It's lifting heavy when you're sore. It's studying longer when your eyes are burning. It's saying, let's go when your body said, let's stop. That's the level we're talking about. You think Michael Jordan liked every workout? You think Serena Williams was excited for every practice? You think Kobe Bryant enjoyed the pain? No, but they attacked it like they did. That's what made them different. That's what made them champions. They brought passion into the parts of the process that everyone else avoids. They didn't just show up. They dominated every single detail, even the ones nobody saw. And that's what you gotta do. You gotta bring that same fire, that same energy to the things you hate. You gotta trick your mind. You gotta rewire your thinking. You gotta stop saying, oh, this is hard. And start saying, this is where I grow. You gotta stop saying, I hate this. And start saying, this is what makes me stronger. Because once you flip that switch, you become dangerous. You become dangerous. You become the kind of person who doesn't need motivation. You become the kind of person who doesn't need permission. You don't wait to feel good. You act good. You move with purpose. You grind with intention. And people look at you and wonder how you're so consistent. But the truth is, you just stopped being a slave to how you felt, and you started being loyal to who you said you would become. So stop complaining about what you don't like doing. Stop whining about what's hard. Stop waiting for everything to feel right. If you want to be great, then do what you hate like you love it. Hit it with the same energy. Hit it with the same attitude. Get up, show up, and give 120%, whether you feel like it or not. Because that's what champions do. You want to know what makes a person dangerous? It's not talent. It's not intelligence. It's not even motivation. It's discipline. Discipline is the most lethal weapon a person can have. When a man or a woman becomes disciplined, truly disciplined, they become unstoppable. They become a force, a storm, a beast in every room they enter. Because while everyone else is waiting for the right moment, the disciplined one creates it. You see, discipline's quiet. It's not flashy. It doesn't make noise on day one. It doesn't come with applause. But behind the scenes, it's building a monster. It's stacking bricks. It's putting in the reps nobody sees, doing the work nobody wants to do again and again and again. And one day, boom, the world sees the result and they call it magic. But it wasn't magic. It was discipline. You become dangerous when you no longer need someone to push you. When you don't need motivation. When you don't need the perfect environment, the right weather, or a cheering squad. You just get up and go. That's when people start fearing your consistency. That's when they realize, oh, this person don't stop. This person don't miss. This person shows up every single day like it's their last. Because most people, they're ruled by emotion. They go hard when they feel good, and they disappear when they don't. They start strong, but they don't finish. They talk big, but they don't follow through. That's the world we live in, full of potential, low on consistency. But not you, not when you get disciplined. Discipline don't care about feelings. It don't care about the weather. It don't care if you're tired. Discipline don't negotiate. It's cold. It's focused. It's locked in. It moves even when it's bleeding. And that kind of discipline, that kind of fire, that's what makes you dangerous. When you train yourself to do the right thing no matter how you feel, you gain control of your life. You stop waiting on the world to change and you become the change. You stop wishing and you start executing. You stop dreaming and you start doing. And that's when life starts to shift. Shift. That's when doors open. That's when you start winning battles people didn't even know you were fighting. Look, the world is full of people with good intention. It's full of people who want to win, who want success, who want the dream, but the ones who actually get it. They're the ones who master themselves. They're the ones who keep working after the applause stops, who keep showing up when the lights are off, who grind in the dark so hard that when the spotlight finally hits, they're already ready. That's why discipline makes you dangerous, because you're always ready. You're always prepared. You don't need time to get warmed up because you stay hot. You don't need to build momentum because you are the momentum. You don't need the alarm clock because you're already awake. You're self-fueled, self-governed, self-driven, self-driven. Nobody can stop you because nobody controls you. When you're disciplined, you move different. You speak different. You walk into rooms with a presence, not because you're loud, but because your consistency has created confidence. You don't have to convince people. Your work speaks for you. Your results do the talking. Your energy says, I'm not here to try. I'm here to dominate. And let me tell you something that scares people. Your discipline will expose their laziness. Your routine will make their excuses uncomfortable. Your level of commitment will make their habits look weak. But don't let that shake you. Don't let that make you shrink. Keep rising, keep rising, keep pressing, keep pressing. Keep being the person who gets up when others quit. Keep being the person who shows up no matter what. Because that's the difference between average and extraordinary. Average is inconsistent. Extraordinary is disciplined. Average hopes. Extraordinary executes. Average waits. Extraordinary works. Over and over. And that repetition, that rhythm, that unstoppable pressure, that's what makes you a threat. You see, the disciplined person doesn't just work hard. They work smart, they work long. They don't burn out because this isn't a sprint. This is a lifestyle. This is who they are. Discipline is in their DNA now. It's not something they do, it's something they become. And when it becomes who you are, quit is no longer an option. Cutting corners is no longer on the table. You don't have a plan because plan A is non-negotiable. So if you want to be dangerous, not just talented, not just hyped, not just flashy, if you want to be dangerous, then get disciplined. Create a schedule and stick to it. Build routines that make you better. Do the things you don't want to do like they're the very things you love. Stop waiting for permission. Stop relying on emotion. Build the kind of discipline that makes people whisper when you walk in. That's how you earn greatness. That's how you earn respect. Mental toughness isn't something you're born with. It's something you build. And the foundation of that build is discipline. When you discipline yourself, you're training your mind to withstand the storms, to resist the distractions, to push through the pain, and to keep going when everyone else is falling apart. Discipline is the gym for your mental strength. Nobody wakes up tough. Nobody wakes up ready to face every challenge with steel nerves and unbreakable will. That toughness, that's earned. It's forged in the furnace of consistency, hard work, and self-control. When you discipline yourself to do the hard things, the things you don't want to do, you're teaching your brain how to handle struggle. You're telling yourself, I am stronger than my excuses. I am stronger than my fears. Discipline is what separates those who crack under pressure from those who rise. It's what makes the difference between quitting and pushing forward. Because life will throw punches. It will knock you down. It will try to break you. But if your discipline is built strong, you'll get up every single time, no matter how hard the fall. Think about it. When you set a schedule, when you commit to a goal and stick to it even when it's tough, you're building muscles in your mind. Every time you resist the urge to quit, every time you choose work over comfort, every time you say not today to distractions, you're making your mental muscles bigger and stronger. You're training yourself to become unshakable. The people who crumble when things get hard are the ones who never practice discipline. They never condition their minds to handle stress. They've never faced discomfort on purpose. They've never pushed past their limits enough to know what they're really made of. But you're different. You're training your mind daily. You're setting standards. You're proving to yourself that you can do what you say you will do, and that builds confidence. Real confidence, not the kind that comes from praise or applause, but the kind that comes from knowing you've earned it. Knowing you've shown up when it was hardest. Knowing you didn't give up when it hurt. Knowing you mastered yourself. That confidence is a shield that protects you when life gets rough. Discipline also teaches patience. Toughness isn't just about brute strength or stubbornness, it's about endurance. It's about holding your position when the pressure is high, when the results are slow, when the world doubts you. Mental toughness means you're willing to wait, to keep working, to keep grinding even when the finish line isn't in sight yet. This kind of toughness is rare because most people give up early. They want quick wins. They want overnight success. But that's not how champions are made. Champions are made in the daily choices. The choices to be disciplined. The choices to show up again and again, even when it feels impossible. Those choices build a mind that can handle anything. When you discipline yourself, you build resilience. You build a mindset that bounces back from failure. You build a spirit that refuses to be defeated. You stop seeing obstacles as walls and start seeing them as challenges to overcome. You learn how to control your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions. That control is power. And here's the thing. Mental toughness isn't about ignoring pain or struggle. It's about embracing it. It's about understanding that growth comes from discomfort. Discipline forces you to face what you don't want to face. It forces you to look at your weaknesses and work on them. It forces you to develop grit, perseverance, and stamina. And when you do that, you become unstoppable. So when the world tries to break you, you won't break. When doubts creep in, you won't fold. When the pressure mounts, you won't quit because you built a mental fortress. You built toughness with every disciplined choice you made. You built a mind that refuses to lose. Discipline is the backbone of mental toughness. It's the bridge between dreams and reality. It's the reason why some people get up again after failure while others stay down. It's the secret weapon of the greats, the reason they keep going long after others have given up. If you want to be strong mentally, you must be disciplined physically, emotionally, and spiritually. You must make discipline a lifestyle, not a sometimes thing. You must decide that no matter what, you will follow through. You will finish what you start. You will do the work even when no one is watching. Because mental toughness isn't about avoiding pain. It's about becoming so disciplined that pain doesn't control you anymore. It's about mastering yourself so completely that nothing can shake your focus or determination. That's the power discipline gives you. That's the power you need to win in life. When most people hear the word discipline, they think of restrictions, rules, chains, or limits. They think about having to say no to fun, no to comfort, no to freedom. But what if I told you that discipline is actually the gateway to freedom? That discipline isn't what holds you back. It's what sets you free. That's right. Discipline is freedom. Look, when you lack discipline, you become a slave. A slave to your impulses, your emotions, your excuses, your distractions. You live day to day reacting to whatever feels good or easy at the moment. You wake up late because you stayed up scrolling. You eat junk food because it tastes good. You skip workouts because you don't feel like it. You miss deadlines because you procrastinated. And all of that keeps you trapped. You're trapped by your own choices, trapped by habits that don't serve you, trapped by a lack of control over your life. That's not freedom, that's chaos. That's slavery disguised as a living free. But discipline is the key that unlocks the door to true freedom. Because when you're disciplined, you choose your life. You don't let your feelings decide your actions. You don't let distractions steal your focus. You don't let instant gratification control your decision. You make decisions based on your goals, your values, your vision for your future. That's freedom. Discipline gives you control. Control over your time, your energy, your focus. And when you have control, you have power. Power to build the life you want. Power to break bad habits. Power to create new opportunities. Power to say a no to what doesn't serve you and yes to what moves you forward. Think about it. When you're disciplined, you don't wake up stressed and overwhelmed because you're chasing your tail. You wake up prepared. You plan your day. You've done the work ahead of time. You're ahead of the game. You have space to breathe. That's freedom. That's peace of mind. Discipline means you've mastered your environment. You've created routines and systems that support your goals. You're not scattered. You're focused. You're not reactive. You're proactive. You're not a victim of circumstance. You're the captain of your ship. And that power, that's freedom. Now, I know discipline sounds hard. I know it feels like sacrifice. But here's the truth. The temporary discomfort of discipline beats the permanent pain of regret every single time. Because when you discipline yourself today, you're investing in your future. You're creating options for yourself down the road. You're building a life where you don't have to settle, where you don't have to stress, where you don't have to worry. That's freedom. The freedom to live on your own terms. To chase your dreams, to provide for your family, to wake up excited about your purpose, to feel confident in your choices. Discipline is what makes all that possible. When you build discipline, you build trust with yourself. You prove to yourself that you can rely on you. And when that trust is solid, you don't need validation from anyone else. You don't need permission. You don't need excuses. You just do. And that's powerful. Because once you have discipline, you become unstoppable. You're not controlled by circumstances or feelings or the people's opinion. You control your actions. You control your future. You control your destiny. So don't fear discipline. Don't see it as a chain. See it as wings. See it as the path to your freedom, the path to your greatness, the path to the life you've always dreamed of. Discipline is freedom, the freedom to become everything you were meant to be. Focus is one of the most powerful weapons you have. It's the laser beam that cuts through distractions, doubts, and chaos to hit the target you're aiming for. But focus doesn't come easy. In today's world, distractions are everywhere. Phones, social media, noise, people pulling you in every direction. Without discipline, your focus becomes scattered, weak, and unreliable. Discipline strengthens focus. When you discipline yourself, you train your mind to concentrate on what matters most. You learn to shut out the noise. You learn to say no to temporary pleasures that steal your attention. You develop the ability to lock in on your goals and keep your eyes on the prize, no matter what is happening around you. Think about an athlete preparing for a big game. They don't just show up and hope to perform well. They have a plan. They follow their training routine. They avoid distractions. They focus on their goal with everything they've got. That focus comes from discipline. Discipline to stick to the plan even when it's hard, even when it's tempting to give in. Discipline is like the muscle that powers focus. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. When you practice discipline by prioritizing your tasks, eliminating distractions, and managing your time well, you're training your brain to stay locked in. You're creating mental habits to help you work deeper, longer, and more effectively. Without discipline, focus is fleeting. You start something and then jump to the next shiny thing. You check your phone every few minutes. Your mind wanders. Your energy drains because you're constantly switching gears. That's called multitasking and it kills focus. But discipline helps you fight that urge. It forces you to finish what you start, to work on one thing until it's done, to be fully present in the moment. And when you strengthen your focus through discipline, your productivity explodes. You get more done in less time. You make fewer mistakes. You create higher quality work. You become a force to be reckoned with. People start to notice your consistency, your dedication, your results. That opens doors. Focus also protects your energy. When you're disciplined, you conserve your mental and emotional power for what really counts. You don't waste time or energy on distractions or drama. You don't let stress or anxiety hijack your mind. You control where your focus goes, and that control gives you peace and power. Discipline also builds resilience for your focus. Some days distractions are stronger. Some days fatigue and doubt try to pull you away. But if you've trained yourself with discipline, you can push through. You can come back from setbacks. You can stay committed even when the journey gets tough. Remember, discipline is not about perfection. It's about commitment. It's about choosing focus over distraction again and again. It's about building the mental stamina to keep your attention where it needs to be. And over time, that discipline creates a habit of focus that transforms your results. So don't let distraction win. Don't let your mind wander without control. Choose discipline. Strengthen your focus. Make your goals your priority every single day, because when your focus is sharp, nothing can stop you. Consistency. The word sounds simple, but it holds the key to everything you want in life. Discipline is not about giant leaps or sudden bursts of motivation. It's about showing up every single day, no matter what. It's about doing the work when you feel like it and when you don't. It's about making your commitment so strong that missing a day isn't even an option. That's discipline. Discipline is consistency. Look, talent will get you noticed. Motivation will get you started. But consistency is what will make you legendary. It's the little things done over and over again that build the foundation for greatness. Think about the person who trains every day. Not just on their best days, but on their worst days too. The one who doesn't take a day off just because they don't feel like it. That's a disciplined person. That's a person who understands that success isn't about the easy moments. It's about grinding through the hard ones. You want to know the truth? Most people fail not because they don't have the ability, but because they're not consistent. They come in hot for a week, maybe two, and then burn out. They rely on motivation, which is temporary. When motivation fades, so does their effort. But discipline isn't temporary. Discipline builds habits that keep you moving forward even when you want to quit. Consistency means you don't rely on how you feel. Some days you'll feel tired, discouraged, or frustrated. Some days life will throw curveballs, but discipline makes you show up regardless. It trains you to push through the resistance, to do the work even when your body says no and your mind wants to quit. When you're consistent, you build a momentum. Momentum is like a snowball rolling down a hill. Starts small, but the longer it rolls, the bigger and faster it gets. Consistency keeps a snowball moving. It creates a rhythm, a routine. And once you have that rhythm, it becomes almost automatic. You don't have to think about whether you're going to work hard or not. It's just what you do. And that's powerful because it frees up your mind to focus on growth, improvement, and creativity. When you're consistent, you're not wasting energy debating whether or not to show up. You're saving your energy for leveling up. Discipline is also about accountability to yourself. When you commit to being consistent, you're making a promise to yourself. A promise that you won't quit, that you won't give in to distractions or excuses, that you will do what needs to be done every day. And keeping that promise builds confidence. Confidence that you can achieve what you set out to do. Consistency doesn't mean perfection. It means persistence. It means showing up even if you don't feel perfect, even if you make mistakes, even if you stumble. Because every day you show up, you get better. Every time you stick to your plan, you build strength. Every small effort adds up over time. Think about it like planting seeds. You don't see the tree the moment you plant the seed. You water it day after day patiently. You trust the process. You stay consistent. And eventually, the tree grows strong and tall. Your discipline works the same way. The consistent efforts build something powerful, something lasting. Also, when you're consistent, you build trust with others. Whether it's your coach, your boss, your family, or your friends, people notice when you're reliable. When you keep your word, when you show up and do the work, that trust opens doors. It creates opportunities. It builds relationships that support your success. The key is to stop looking for quick fixes. Stop waiting for the perfect moment or the right feeling. There will never be a perfect time. There will never be a perfect move. The only way forward is to commit to consistency, to build discipline into your daily life, like it's a non-negotiable. So many people have big dreams but lack the discipline to be consistent. Don't be that person. Be the person who keeps pushing, the person who keeps grinding, the person who doesn't miss days. The person who understands that greatness is built on the small, consistent actions. Remember, discipline is not a one-time event. It's a lifestyle. It's a habit. It's a commitment to yourself that you will keep going no matter what. You might not see results immediately, but if you keep showing up day after day, week after week, month after month, the results will come, and they'll be bigger than you ever imagined. So when you think about discipline, don't just think about hard work. Think about consistency. Think about showing up. Think about the power of doing it again and again until it becomes who you are. That's how you win. That's how you succeed. That's how discipline turns into results. Discipline is the seed from which habits grow, and habits are the building blocks of your destiny. It's easy to think of discipline as this big, scary thing, like it's some impossible mountain you have to climb every day. But really, discipline is just the small, consistent choices you make that shape your future. When you discipline yourself today, you're planting habits that will carry you through tomorrow, the next day, and years from now. Habits don't form overnight. They are created through repeated actions, through doing the same thing over and over until it becomes automatic. Discipline is the key that unlocks that process. It's the commitment to do what you need to do even when you don't feel like it. It's showing up day after day, pushing through resistance and not giving in to temptation. That's how habits are born. When you have discipline, you don't leave your success to chance. You don't wait for motivation or inspiration to strike. You take control by establishing routines that keep you moving forward, no matter what. These routines become habits, a powerful, invisible force that drives your life without you having to think about it constantly. Think about the people you admire. The athletes, entrepreneurs, artists, and leaders who seem to have it all together. What sets them apart is not just talent or luck. It's the habits they built through discipline. They wake up early, they train hard. They focus without distractions. They keep learning. They don't quit when things get tough. Those are habits formed by discipline, and those habits produce results. Discipline also protects you from the chaos of life. When everything else feels uncertain, when the world is throwing curveballs, your habits keep you grounded. Because habits are like a groove your brain follows automatically. When you get tired or stressed, your habits kick in and keep you on track. You don't have to rely on willpower every single moment. Your habits do the heavy lifting. But here's the catch. If you don't have discipline, you'll develop bad habits just as easily as good ones. Bad habits like procrastination, distraction, overeating, or giving up too soon. And those bad habits lead you down a path of failure and regret. So discipline isn't just about building good habits. It's about choosing the right habits. It's about deciding what kind of person you want to be and then acting accordingly every day. You have to be intentional. You have to be mindful. Every time you make a choice, you're either reinforcing a habit that will help you grow or one that will hold you back. Discipline gives you the power to make those choices consciously. It's the difference between being the master of your habits or being controlled by them. Once you build good habits through discipline, your life changes. Success stops being a struggle and starts becoming a natural outcome. When your habits are aligned with your goals, you're not just working harder, you're working smarter. You're working smarter. You're setting yourself up for long-term success instead of short bursts of effort followed by burnout. And the beauty of habits is that they compound over time. Just like money in the bank. Small positive actions repeated consistently add up to massive results. Discipline helps you create that momentum. It keeps you in the game when others quit. It makes you reliable, focused, and unstoppable. Discipline also teaches you patience. Habits don't show their full power immediately. It takes time before the benefits become visible. But if you stick with it, if you keep building those habits every day, you'll start to see your life transform. Your mindset will shift. Your confidence will grow. Your results will multiply. It all starts with a decision to commit to discipline, to say no to excuses, to say yes to doing the work, to embrace discomfort, to keep pushing even when it's hard. Because every time you discipline yourself, you're strengthening your habits. And every time your habits get stronger, your future gets brighter. So remember this, discipline isn't punishment. It's the greatest gift you can give yourself. It's the foundation of every habit that will lead you to greatness. Without discipline, you're at the mercy of your emotions and impulses. With discipline, you become the architect of your destiny. Your habits are your future. Discipline builds those habits. Choose discipline. Build your habits and watch your life change forever.